Let's see. Cool, cool, cool. Looks like we're live. I'm gonna check the page, but really quick, just welcome everybody to our hangout today. It's Abram Gonzalez. What's up? I got my Boulder hippie gear on. As you can see, I have the little shorty hat. You know, I have my wings. Well, I tucked some of my wings back, but I can bring them out for you guys, right? And then I got my kombucha too. I'm ready for some good stuff today, you guys. We have a really cool guest here on the Hangout for this topic too. Chris and I were talking last night about like what are we gonna call? Oh my God! Oh my God! It's live! It's live! So the page works. The page works. Chris and I were texting back and forth last night, and we're like, what should we call this hangout? And we had some hilarious ideas, but we didn't really come to a consensus on like what it was going to be. And looks like it went live on my side, and then I was getting blasted in the ears by the sounds of my voice. All right, so anyway, we were talking about what's the title of this thing, and we were like, well, what is it that we can really give the viewer today? That's you. And that will contribute to the kind of breakthrough that Chris and I have had on the internet. Because if you don't know this already, you're about to find out. Chris is a really incredible marketer, but more than that, he's a guy that's got a lot of heart, a lot of spirit. And when you look into those big blue eyes of his, it's almost like you can see the entire universe, right? But besides the fact that I have a huge man crush, Chris just had a barbecue that we were at this past Sunday where we were hanging out together with some marketers, some other people in Colorado who are doing big things, also heart-centered entrepreneurs just like us. And you know, when you're hanging out for long enough, there's always a time when like the piece of notepad paper comes out, because there's no way that you can explain what you're talking about and that you're inspired about unless you just draw it out on a piece of paper. And so it was, 11:30 at night, 10:30 at night here in Colorado, and Chris has got like 12 of us huddled around a table as he's drawing out on a piece of paper, this incredible information about how you market to different types of people. And if you've been in marketing for any period of time, you know how important it is to really know like what your audience is thinking, how they're feeling, what their value sets are. And Chris has really tapped into that. And he's taken research that he's gathered over the years as a marketer, somebody who's done over 250K on the internet. I don't know, at least the last 2-3 years. I mean, you've done other things besides like the business that we're in right now. And he's just a phenomenal marketer. And I'm sitting there at the table, and I'm like watching what's going down. And I'm like having breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. And I'm like, holy crap. And it was one of those things that made me realize not only why certain things had worked in our business, but also why certain things hadn't worked in our business. And so I thought it was super appropriate to bring Chris out today and share with you guys some of the stuff. We're naming this hangout. We're calling it the good, the bad, and the ugly of doing business on the internet. How to avoid the pitfalls, how to avoid the things that both Chris and I have dealt with at some point or another in our careers of, creating an income on the internet, no matter what it is, no matter what business that you're doing. The same principles and stuff that we're going to teach you today, you can apply to anything. And if there's one thing that I wish I had had when we first got started was a mentor, right? Was a mentor and somebody like Chris who knew the playing field before I even got started and could tell me, hey, Avram, you might want to watch out for that hole over there. Or, hey, you might want to consider going around this way, and it might be better for you. Because a lot of us start businesses for the first time, and we bumble around in the dark, and we're not sure what to do. We waste a lot of time, and we get hurt along the way. So this hangout is really about, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to ask Chris some questions. He's going to share with you some of his story as well, and really help you look at how you can avoid some of the mistakes that we've made early on and just get straight to the profit zone, right? One of our friends, Michelangelo Lopez, he makes this joke from stage every time that we have an event. He's like, I'm like 48 years old. I ain't got time for no learning curve. And I think it's so funny because it's so true. Most of us don't have time for that learning curve, right? Because we have a life and we got things that we want to do. We have big things we want to accomplish. And so that being said, I just want to welcome you, Chris, to our webinar, our hangout today, I guess you could call it. I'm just excited to have you here, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. Just honored to be here, really. And like you said before, we got a few cool things to talk about tonight. We got a few things that is not normally addressed in this industry, and that I have really uncovered to find out that is responsible for a lot of people not being able to have the kind of success they're capable of. And so, what I've kind of seen this as is what we're going to talk about today is a lot of just like when I was showing you this, it was like, wow, had I just had this missing piece to plug in, the puzzle would have made sense. Because I know what it's like. I've made $250,000 just about in this company alone, but in other income streams and stuff on the internet, probably done over 300,000 easily, just in the last 2 years or so, 2.5 years. And income disclaimer, results not typical. I worked my tail off for that and went absolutely bat crap crazy, right? But the thing about that is, that's possible for anyone if they depending on their skill level and what they want to do. But these things that I'm going to talk about tonight is some of the core foundations of why I've been able to do that. Because had I not understood this stuff, then I would have continued doing blog posts that never seemed to have any click-throughs and wondering why I had all of these people see my blogs, all of these people see my videos, all these people see so much of my content, and wondering why none of them were buying from me. Wonder why none of them were even opting in. And if they opted in, they never bought anything. And then they unsubscribed from my list. And so, a lot of people are in a space where they're right there, where you essentially are looking at your blog posts and you've done everything you can to promote it, and you've put your content out there, and you're like, why is it that I see producers do a blog post and get sales and signups, or why do I see them do a piece of content and they get signups when I do a blog post or piece of content and nothing happens? I just don't get any movement. I don't get any reaction. I don't get any feedback. I don't have anybody responding to me. There's no responsiveness. Why is that? Why is this? And it forces you to think there's some kind of secret, which they're not secrets. They're just hidden in plain sight. That's the issue. And oftentimes, because they're hidden in plain sight and it's right under your nose, you don't think about it. You don't even go there most of the time. So what we've been able to do, and a lot of this, it's like I started to think through a lot of this, but what the concepts were not developed by me. They have been concepts that were as old as time. The concepts came from the top marketing and advertising people in the industry, and I'm talking about concepts that are, from books from 30 to 40 years ago. I mean, this was before we even had the internet. But what I think has really made a difference here with this, is why it's so effective now, is because of the way that we have oriented all of those concepts of marketing into online marketing and being able to do that on the internet, and how that works, applying that to modern day business strategies and tactics, and how that all ties together. So when you understand and operate from a framework that you can really target in and zero in on the person you want to speak to in a way that we've never had the opportunity or ability to before in our life, then you can get so much more laser targeted and resonate with your audience, which starts having the things that happen to us as producers, where sales coming in is a regular thing, and this is all we have to do. We don't have jobs. This is essentially our life and our labor of love at the same time, because we're doing what we love and offering it to other people. So we're creating contribution and significance at the same time, and also being able to have a lifestyle with it, which I think is just the win-win-win. Not just a win-win, but I like to call it the win-win-win, because 3 times repeating a mantra in anything solidifies the energy of it. And so I think that's important to say it that way. And so, yeah, I love doing this stuff. And so, as we were all having that conversation there at that barbecue, you're right, Abram, it was, everyone was kind of talking about things and was like, well, how do you tell the story right? How do you go about this stuff? And why is it that you say one thing to one person and one thing to another? And I was like, okay, guys, gather around. Give me a notepad here. So I started drawing this out, and it's like everybody in the room was like, oh my God, And I mean, all I did was show a diagram from a book from 40 years ago, but then I explained how it interprets to modern day. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm the founder or creator. There are many other copywriters that use these same things, but being able to translate them to the online space and how you put your funnels together and how you market is so critical. And once you get this, it's a shift. It puts you in a different space. And we've done it over and over again with our people. And so we've got many testimonials, many people that have said the same thing, having this type of shift. And, you know, I've noticed a difference also in Avram and Nikki ever since we've talked, ever since we hung out last Sunday, in just what you're doing and when we're having conversations and how much clearer you are on everything. And I just really feel that it's going to have a chance to take you to the next level. And that takes us all to the next level. It's taken me to the next level as well. So, yeah, man.
You know what's cool about you, Chris, is like, and I think this is just something that great leaders have in common is, you know, you do workshops and stuff teaching these concepts, you know, that you charge like thousands of dollars for, and yet we're at a barbecue and you're like, you know what, you guys just need to know, so I'm just going to teach you right now. You know, and I think that's one of the marks of a great leader is somebody who just loves to share just because and really bring that information that you know is going to change somebody's life into the room when it's being called upon and when it's necessary. And so I feel like that's kind of like what we're doing right now. And yeah, I got to piggyback off of what you said too. It's like the kind of clarity that comes from what you shared is I think what a lot of people are desperately looking for. And I forget if it was Teddy Roosevelt that said it or if it was just something that I read in Think and Grow Rich. About Henry Ford. You know, Henry Ford is not like the smartest dude in the world, but yet he was one of the most successful business people of our time. And it's like, well, why is that? Well, it wasn't that he had all the smarts. He just knew who to talk to or where to go to find the information. You know, and it sounds like that's something that you've really tapped into, and that's one thing that I can appreciate about you is that you're well learned in the industry and in the concepts of marketing, and even if you can't recall all of it, you still know where to go, where to point people to get more information. So, is there a place that really helped you get started? I'm sort of thinking like books, for instance. Is there something that helped you shift? I mean, have you always been an entrepreneur, or like what's your deal, man? I know some of your story, but some of them don't.
Sure. Well, you know, I think that one of the things that afforded me a unique opportunity was that from a young age, you know, at about 16 years old, I skipped school one day because I just was bored with school, and I went across the street to the public library because I lived in Alaska and it was 35 degrees below zero outside that day. So when I skipped school, I wasn't going to walk very far, right? And so I got just across the street, got cold enough to where I said enough of that, and I went inside to the public library. And I thought, well, this place is probably boring too, but hey, it's better than being in class right now. And you know, with a condescending teacher that doesn't understand how you learn and what you're about and what motivates you and what drives you and knows how to even engage you, you know. And so all of a sudden I'm walking through the aisles of books just kind of thinking like, you know, is there something better than school? You know, like, is there a better way to do this? Like, am I going to have to go to school for years and have to go through that whole rigmarole and then go to college? Like, shoot me now, you know, like that. I just didn't like that system at all. It just never really worked for me. I was like a C student. I never got good grades. And I found out that when I did actually learn something I really liked, I got into it, and I realized that was the big part about it, is something you're passionate about. And so I'm walking down the aisle, and a particular book just jumped off the shelf at me. And it's like, it's almost like it levitated right out and just fell on the floor in front of me. But, you know, it was more so because I saw it, and it's like the book got bigger in my mind, and it kind of jumped out, and it's like the letters jumped out off the title and came out off the book into the air and was like, you know, pick me up. And the book happened to be Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And that led me, I mean, I literally opened that book up and read that whole thing that day and was mesmerized. And it set me on a path as I skipped the rest of the day of school. It set me on a path to entrepreneurial endeavors and knowing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so what happened to me at that age is that I said, well, if I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to have to learn how to market and sell. And what I started to do was shift my mindset into any project that I did in school was learning about marketing, learning about selling. So I actually did a lot of research on, older books that were, Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue advertising stuff when I was younger. And I was actually kind of disgusted with a lot of the corporate advertising techniques that people talked about, and some of the ways that publications and and the corporate speak and the newspapers, and the way that they kind of deceived people, and how these marketing practices were used on people. And so I was kind of like driven by like, why do they want to manipulate people so much? Isn't there a way that you can successfully get your message to the right people that already want what you have, or help them understand why they need it, but not necessarily use deceptive tactics to do so? And so I dug even deeper into the books that the marketing concepts came from, and I realized those marketing concepts were pure. But the corporate world had taken it to a different level. The corporate world had taken it to a level of deception and manipulation, because that's where they resonated at with their consciousness and what they valued. Which is another big part of it, the value system that Graves talks about, which came out in like the 60s, which is another big part that I've integrated into this stuff that we'll talk a little bit about probably tonight as well. But so I started learning this stuff, and it really did take me learning internet marketing years later, and then going back and looking at those concepts and going, wait a second. Okay, this is how I can apply this to online marketing now. This is how I can use these same concepts, but now translate it to modern day language, modern day memes, modern day understandings and systems and tools that work in a system together that's automated. And when I got that, it kind of took me like 8 months to make my first $15 online, believe it or not. Like, a lot of people quit after, like, I think the average is 47 days. And the only real difference between me and that person is I just didn't quit. I didn't give up. I didn't say like, this stuff doesn't work. I realized that it wasn't about the stuff working for me, that I had to make the stuff work. But when I was armed with the right tools, then it was easy. So after those 8 months, and I was like, oh, I get it now. When I started to fill in those gaps, it made sense, and then the income started to rise, and I've never looked back since. Last year, having one of our biggest six-figure years in 2013, I think it was about 162 just inside of my main primary company alone, and then just going from there, never looking back. And so once again, results not typical. Your results may vary, and so I worked my ass off for that. But, so this is how I kind of came to these conclusions. And so I really haven't seen many people teach this stuff and tie it together the way it has. And so in a short amount of time, I've been able to elevate, with using these concepts, not just my own business, but many other people's business. And now, putting together a big event also that, has some of the top producers in the industry, in our niche, attending, wanting to learn and wanting to round out their game as well. Kind of like all of them bringing a piece of the puzzle, and we're going to just fit it all together with a bigger vision. So that's what I'm really excited about, because it's allowed me to even create those partnerships and essentially step up my levels and step up everybody else's level. Kind of, it's all about taking it to the next level. So that's where we're at.
What's funny is I remember my first sale on the internet. You said yours is like $15. It took you like 8 or 10 months. It took me about 6 months, and I sold a whiteboard on Amazon, and I got like an 83-cent commission. And the funny part is that it was one of my buddies, and he was like, he knew that I just got a whiteboard, and he was like, well, how do you like it? I was like, dude, I love it because I can just write stuff on it. And, it's like my thoughts can finally exit my mind, and I get more clear and I get more creativity. I love whiteboards. Like, do you have a whiteboard, by the way? I mean, like, have you seen that idea paint? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you can paint the whole wall and it turns it into a whiteboard. It's paint. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Ooh. Now that seems cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, so I was having this conversation with my buddy, and this is important, by the way, like, this ties into everything that we're talking about, and he was asking me, like, how I liked it, what I liked about it, and he goes, we were both pretty fresh to the idea of affiliate marketing and being able to sell somebody else's stuff and then earn a commission from it. He goes, well, dude, I want one. I think I'm ready to buy one too. Do you have an affiliate link that you can send me, and I'll just buy it through you, right? And I was like, yeah, man. So I sent him the link, and that was like cha-ching, my first, my first sale on the internet. Created some value, and was able to earn an 83-cent commission. And most people be like, man, that's nothing. But for me, it was like this whole eye-opening experience that you could actually create an income on the internet. Like I knew that if I could do that, I could do so much more. And I think the piece that somebody can learn from watching this is like dissecting what happened in that transaction. Because if you can understand what happened in that transaction, you can take that and you can apply it to your business no matter what it is. Because what happened, right? What happened? I had a product, a whiteboard, that I was using, that I was getting value from. I think I'd even posted a picture on Facebook, and I was like, yay, like I'm mapping out the next, video or whatever it was that I was working on at the time. So I had the product, I used the product, I was inspired by the product, and I shared, like on Facebook, right? And I had one of my buddies, one of my close friends, message me and ask me, like a few more questions, like about what it did for me. We just had a fun conversation about it. And that's what led to the sale. So most people have this idea, like you kind of hinted on a little bit, Chris. Corporations have this weird, like, smelly, sticky, strange, disgusting, sometimes, idea of what sales looks like and how to sell people. And it's just this weird thing, and it's been like bastardized and like disfigured into something that it doesn't have to be, into some strange monster, when really sales is just like a beautiful thing. And no matter what business you're in, if you're not making sales, you're not in business, really. So what happened in that transaction was just a total game changer for me. And it's sunk in on so many different levels since then. Because on the next level, what really happened? Well, I'm friends with a lot of people on Facebook that are into the same sort of like things that I am, right? So Chris and I connected on a lot of different things, but also hugely in our spirituality and like our beliefs and our value systems and the way that we see the world. It's very similar, right? It's like if you're an entrepreneur and you're running your own business, you know that there's people in your life that they just do not get what you do. And also in the sense that, like they don't get what you do, and most of the time they don't even care because they can't even comprehend why you would want to do something that is so much more risky in their minds than getting a job and having a secure payday. I think it's more risky to depend on your payday from like one source, one boss, than it is to go out there and collect an army of customers and people that are ready to just pay you for your services. I think that's what's more secure. But hey, I don't make the rules. Everybody makes their own rules. And so, at the end of the day, it's like, well, when you're surrounded by people and you know who they are and they can identify with you and your story, guess what? Anything that you bring to the table is going to be something that they're interested in. And I think that's just one of the biggest blocks that people have when it comes to making an income on the internet. Number one, you got no idea, perhaps you've never taken the time to really just figure out who you are and who you want to be. And I'm not talking about who you are in the sense that you're looking at me right now and you just see a scrappy looking hippie dude that has made like a shit ton of money on the internet, shooting wacky videos and stuff, living in Boulder and not even smoking any pot, right? It's like, it's this thing that blows your mind. You're like, how can he not shower and drink kombuchas all day, live in Boulder and not smoke any weed? I don't know. It's like one of those mysteries of the universe, but nonetheless, it's the reality. But like, here's the thing. That's not what I mean by who you are. What I mean is your value systems, right? Are you the type of person that sees the world in a half glass full or a half glass empty, right? Are you the type of person that really values things like the law of attraction and that being like your guiding pillar for what it is and how you live your life, right? Those kind of things. That's really like who you are, and who you are can change. You know, we're not talking about finding who you are and sticking yourself in a box and just going with that, because who you are will change, it will evolve, but mostly people hold on to a lot of the same values through a lifetime. And the point of all this is to say, if you don't know who you are and you don't know who it is that you want to become, no matter what product or business it is that you want to participate in, you're going to have a very hard time connecting with other people the way that I did with my buddy who wanted the whiteboard 4 years ago. Right? I was able to connect with him because he's also an entrepreneur. He was also somebody getting started learning how to market online back in 2010. We were both interested in the same things. We both saw life a little bit differently. It was because of that connection that I understood that he didn't just want something to write on. He wanted to create a creative space. He wanted to create something that would inspire him every time that he woke up and looked at what he'd written down. See, it wasn't about the whiteboard on the wall. It was about all these different things that it brought him. So in understanding all these things, and you're listening right now and you're seeing some things click together maybe that didn't click before, that it's not about the thing or the idea or whatever it is that you're selling or whatever it is that you want to create in the world. It's about your connection with those who are looking to find it. And if there's one thing that Chris can help you do, it's to really get down into what that looks like. And the best place to start is with you. Because in building our business over the last 18 months or so, when I look around us and I see the bright, shiny faces at the events and the people that we tend to run into, and guys like Chris, it's like we're all cut from a similar mold, right? We all have like our spiritual background. We all are interested in having some fun. And because of that, and because of the fact that we're so much alike, all I have to do is go out into the marketplace and I have to talk my talk the way that I know they're looking to hear it. Because when they hear these certain words that you share, when they hear the stories that you put together and the way that you construct them, that's when they're like, that's when they lean forward and they're like, what else do you have for me? I'm ready to find out. Right? And I think that's one of the biggest underlying things of all the successful marketers and people out there who are making business happen. And by the way, if you didn't just have a breakthrough right now, that's okay. You can rewind this thing and listen to it again, because what you should be listening for is the stuff that's in between the words, the concepts that we're sharing, because you can take them and you can custom tailor them to exactly who you are and where you're at right now. Chris, do you have anything to add to that? I just kind of went crazy because I'm just pumped up talking about this stuff, man.
Well, yeah, dude. You know, I mean, you pretty much said it. You know, like it's beautiful how you put that too, because that really ties around and ties together. You know, what we're looking to accomplish here, what we're looking to do, and you know, so when people, it's like you illustrated it perfectly. So I'm really attempting to try to find something to add to it, but honestly, that was just like, you know. Wow, yeah, you've got it down, you know. So, and it's cool to see that because, you know, as we were having a conversation before on Sunday, you know, it was like we were talking a little bit about, you know, markets and such, and I can see now with people where they have disconnects, and the toughest part about it, but also the place that I get the most satisfaction out of, is being able to shift that person when they have a disconnect and pointing out the disconnects. And the sad part is that some people just aren't really ready for it all the time. And so you may tell them, but they're not really ready to hear it. And then, you know, funny enough, someone else comes along and, you know, finally sees something and points it out, you know, a little while later, and they're like, oh my God. And you're like, I've been telling you that the whole time, you know. But you know what I found that causes that with people is if they're not in a space to hear it yet, there's one thing that normally is blocking them from doing that, and that's their ego. And when they have an ego about what they know and what they don't know, thinking that they already know everything, yet they haven't had any success, funny little thing there. I find it hilarious how someone's like, hey, I know this, but then they haven't made any money, and you're like, do you see a pattern here, you know? And So if they're able to check their ego and submit their ego and understand the laws of prosperity, will submit that you need to be able to be open to receiving and also giving and trusting in that. It's being okay to be open to receiving feedback from people, and when you receive that, you can then give out, in the way of, paying for training or paying by voting for stuff. Every time you pay for something, it's a vote for something, and energy
Right.
that you give it. And when you create that spiral of paying for something, it kind of brings you up to where it comes back around to you, but it spirals up to a higher level when the intention is pure and the ego is not in the way. When the ego is in the way, it kind of stops that spiral, like stops it. It's like a physical thing. You can literally like see it with some people. And so when you trust and submit the ego and allow someone to show you something that you haven't seen before, or you may have said, oh, I already know about that before, when you think you do, and you may not, and there may actually be the one missing piece inside of that that is the reason why you may know that, but you didn't think it worked. When we bring in the missing pieces and you go, oh, wow, really, that does work. And now I need to apply this. So a lot of it comes down to trusting the people that have results and that have done this and following their lead, and not being afraid to, the whole ego thing of like, oh, I'm being outshined by somebody, or sizing them up and comparing yourself or something like that. You need to throw all that out the window. You really do. It doesn't serve you. And if you really ask yourself, does your ego serve you, you'll find that it doesn't. And if you don't hear that in your mind right away, then that means your ego's talking to you saying, no, I'm good, and don't listen to me. Don't listen to them, listen to me, because I want to keep you safe, which also safe kind of equals broke in this industry. So the thing that makes a big difference is, there's a point where you make a big leap and something you may not fully believe in yet because you haven't experienced it, but you see others that have, and making that huge leap over the great divide, that is what I've always found is the one thing that's been holding someone back from having success. And so I actually want to talk a little bit about some of these values and some of these levels.
Sure.
And kind of hit on the main points, because we're going to talk a lot more about that this tonight. But I wanted to give people a taste of what's happening here, and the reason I know that is, funny enough, I just looked down at the clock. It says 3:33, and so that's confirmation to me, like, all right, what we're doing at the moment is meant to be, and it's all in perfect flow. So yeah, if it's all right with you, Abram, I can kind of go into some of this if you like, unless you got beforehand.
I think it's brilliant, man, because what you shared with me on Sunday, it's not something that we've ever. I got this like itchy nose. I get on Hangouts and the nose gets itchy. It's like really strange, because then people don't know if you're picking it. They don't know if like really what's going on. And then I was looking. I'm like, I'm a little glad that my HD camera isn't as hot as yours right now, because I had to take mine off before we got started, because I don't know if you guys get this, but like you see Chris on the screen and you almost like fall into a trance just looking into his eyes. Like it's so crystal clear. But I got close to the camera and I was like, holy shit, I have this like massive zit coming up. Like I gotta film some videos today and tomorrow, and like I might have to put some makeup on. That's just the reality of things. But anyway, yeah, I'm just having fun. What you shared with us on Sunday really got us thinking. We had this hour drive back home, and it's like you said, Chris. Like when you do have the ego, there is no room for success, right? When you have the ego and you're just getting started and you're still broke and you're not having the breakthrough that you want, there is no room for you to have the success and the breakthrough, because the ego is hogging up too much of your space, too much of your time. And I think that's one of the things that has allowed Nikki and I to progress so quickly with what we've been doing, is because we're really willing to listen. We go to events and it's like I have my notepad out. I don't care like who's on stage. I'm going to take notes and I'm going to listen for like that one nugget or those 3 nuggets that I know that I can receive from them, because they're doing something cool that I probably haven't done before. And so when you jotted things out and the stuff that you're going to share with people in a minute, Nikki and I had this hour drive home, and like we were going to listen to like an audiobook on the way back, because we turn our car into a rolling university. filling our mind with the good stuff. But we turned the dial down and we just started talking. And we were so inspired and we became so much more clear on like what we do, because one of the things you'll notice is that the people that aren't succeeding and that aren't getting the results that they want, they're typically pretty scattered. And along with that, it's like the energy has to, when you're scattered here, what you're putting out gets scattered out over here too. And it's like, you can't hit a target that's 150 yards out with a shotgun because it just sprays, right? But when you have a .22 rifle, it's like super, super accurate, and you can really zone in on the target, and you can hit it from, like my grandfather was in pre-qualifying for the Olympics like 20, 30 years, or like 40 years ago, right? And he almost made it in, and he was shooting targets over a mile away, where he had to like calibrate for the arc in the Earth's crust for the bullet to also, work with gravity on the way down and hit the target in the perfect place. You can't do that with a shotgun. You can't do that when you're scattered. You can only do it when you're focused, and you can only do it when you're clear. And what we got when we were hanging out with you, man, was clarity, right? Because you're writing stuff down, and what did you hear from me? Nothing. Or what you did hear was like, oh, And it's like, I'm just open, ready to receive, and that's what really allowed for the magic to come in. So are you gonna like turn a camera around, or like what's your plan of attack for sharing some of this stuff with people that created such a breakthrough for Nikki and I?
I can, but actually what I'll do is, if you like, I was just going to pretty much share and talk about it, but if you would like to see like a diagram, I can pull up a quick slide and talk about it a bit, if you like.
I think that'd be helpful, man, because I know just like, yeah, let's do that if possible, because I heard something really funny. I was listening to a podcast the other day by Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income,
Pat Flynn,
right?
Pat.
Yeah, Pat Flynn's awesome. And by the way, you guys, if you're not listening to podcasts, just get on there. You can download them to your iPhone, like off of iPhone or off of iTunes. I mean, just so much really incredible information. He was doing a breakdown with somebody called how to create a better presentation where people can retain the information more readily, more easily. And they went over this like SPLAT method. And SPLAT stands for different things. But one of the things he talked about was, well, there's this myth that certain people are auditory learners, and certain people are visual learners, and certain people are kinesthetic. They got to be in it and touching it and doing it. He goes, well, here's the myth. The myth is that we're like one of these things when we're actually all of them. And by the way, everybody's a visual learner, like primarily, and everything else fits into that too. So I just know that the slide's going to help a lot, because when you drew it out, man, even though it was simple, it put so much stuff into context. So take it away. I just know that if the right person is here to hear it, then which I think they are, knowing the crew that we roll with, this is going to change your marketing, guys. This is like the foundational part, because we can teach all these different things about the marketing process, right? I mean, there's three main things. It's like, like how to get lead, or like how to get traffic, how to get leads, and how to convert leads. There's these like three things that people talk about all the time when it comes to earning an income on the internet. But even before all of that is like, how the frick do you find the right people and deliver the right message to those people? Because when you do, there's no need to create funny business. There's no need to like hypnotically persuade people to take action. There's no need for any of that. I can have regular conversations with people that have the same value systems, and when I'm speaking their language, they just want whatever we have to offer. Right. So there you go.
Yeah, man. What I'm actually going to do here is I just kind of got the hit that it would be better if I just showed you guys on my whiteboard the same thing rather than showing a diagram, and make it a little easier. So what I'm going to do here real quick is actually.
By the way, guys, I sold this whiteboard to Chris, and I got a $2.63 commission.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me see if I can actually make this work here. This is all impromptu, kind of figuring out logistics on the fly here as well. So, but
It looks good.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So let's see here. See if I can. All right.
Oh, that's sexy, man. It's clear. I love your camera. Do you have a link on Amazon so I could buy the camera
It's that same
work?
logic that you're dealing with, actually. Let me get this turned around so you guys can actually see this without reading backwards.
No, it's correct, dude.
Oh, is it?
It's just backwards on your screen. Yeah, that's how Google Hangouts are funny like
Hey,
that.
that's awesome. All right. So, all right. This is like the most coolest stuff that I've honestly ever,
By the way, guys, comment below. We got the chat roll going on. Comment below if you're getting some good value right now, and you're excited for what Chris is about to do, and you're excited to find out what it was that really transformed Nikki and I's ability to market just in the last like 3 to 4 days. Chris said, "I think I just saved you thousands of dollars," and I said, "I don't think you saved us thousands of dollars. I think what you did is you helped us on our merry way to our first million by the end of this year." Right, and that's really what you guys have the chance to really experience here. And by the way, I know that what we've said has made an impact on somebody here, right? I know that what we've made has made an impact on somebody here, and we're really just kind of getting started. So comment below, give some love to Chris. Let us know, give us your feedback, what you're getting so far, what your breakthroughs have been, and like, here's the thing, it's like I think it was Buddha said something about like. He has like that metaphor about a candle, and candle being like the happiness. Maybe you know this one, Chris. But it's like, what is happiness when it's not shared? I don't know the quote, but guess what? From the same candle, you can light others. So it's time to light the candle. Click the share buttons on this video, like on this page. Share this stuff with your friends, because there's people that need to know this information, right? And there's a reason we're excited about it, because it is really important that people get to hear this. So take it away, dude.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So what I would need to double check first is, can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you great. Let's hear from them too.
So when I turn around and I'm talking like this, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Right on. So I guess my headset is actually working again rather than before when it was like set up on my laptop. So my laptop's kind of down and to the right, away from everything. So I guess it's working good. Okay, awesome.
You're good. I'll let you know if anything goes awry. And by the way, people are falling in love with you in the chat. The French especially love you. Sandy is saying what's up from France. She's hypnotized by your eyes. I think the Beasleys are here too, and people are just pumped up, man.
I love those guys, Chris and Susan too. So
cool.
Yeah. This is the stuff that really made the biggest shift for me, like ever. Okay, so this is what this is, guys. We've got 5 levels of awareness, and I'm going to break them down real quick for you so that it makes sense as to which market you're actually targeting, who you're actually speaking to, and once you understand that, you know where to go find these people. Big difference, right? Big difference, because some people are like, well, what do? I buy traffic, and I expect this capture page to work for me automatically, and then I expect them to the sales video just to work automatically, and have no knowledge of understanding what my prospects' motivations, values, or level of awareness is. So let's start with the level of awareness. You've got level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm actually going to count down backwards, and as you can see, this is kind of like a funnel here. I'm going to count down backwards from 5 and start with level 5 and explain to you the progression of this real quick. So first off, unaware of the problem or solution. That's level 5. These are normally not people that are prospects to you. They're people that are not aware of the problem they have or the solution that you have. Now, we have some cool scientifically based, story training that helps bring people from this area to, a more qualified prospect. But let me help you understand these people. They're the ones that essentially don't even know that they don't know. They're unaware that their life could be any better, because if you're in the opportunity niche and you're seeking people to, that are opportunity seekers, people that are looking for businesses, people that are looking for a way to make money from home, or affiliate marketing or network marketing or MLM, then they don't even know that exists, and they didn't know that how good that could even be. And their problems are stemming from, I didn't even know this was possible. What I mean is, they may not see their life as being able to get any better than it is. They didn't know that they had a problem. They didn't know that they could earn more money. They didn't know that they could change their life. And so oftentimes this person is a little bit of a tough scenario to start with, that you essentially have to say, look, you know, do you realize that there's even more to your life than what you have? Do you realize that there's more going on here than what you've ever seen? Do you know there's more? And the type of person who's receptive to that is normally the person that's starting to think, you know, is this all there is to life? Now, they're not necessarily aware of what the problem is, but they're starting to ponder, like, is this all there is? That's the first type of person. They're unaware of the problem or the solution, and you essentially say, hey, look, you have a problem. Here's what this problem actually is. This is why you have a problem. Here's the solution. Let me tell you about the solution. So that's number one. Normally not the easiest, because you have to understand the ways to get people there, and it takes a little more marketing. So for a new person, which is funny, they normally try to target people like this, but they don't understand how to bring them through a process that gets them down to a sale. And so that's where the disconnect is, the largest disconnect, in where people are marketing, and they're not seeing a response. They're not seeing people actually respond to them. So keep that in mind. That's the first level. Kind of difficult unless you know what you're doing, right? So now we would go down to level 4. Level 4, they're aware of the problem, but they're not aware of the solution. So what I mean by that is they're like, yeah, I know I got a problem. I want to find a way to make more money, but I don't know what that is. They're a little more motivated. They're probably more fed up and frustrated with their life, and having month left at the end of the money, and they want to find a way to change that. So they may have too many expenses with taking care of their family, and they don't have the kind of lifestyle they want, and to be able to take their family on vacations and all that, they're barely scraping by, or they just want more. And to them, life right now is a problem. They're not satisfied. And what you can do is, with these people, the headlines that work the best in that type of advertising, you'll see this in ads, like in right side ads in Google and Facebook and whatever. The headlines are benefit-based, but they're normally asking you a question, because that gets you saying yes. So the perfect headline for a level 4 awareness is, not enough money at the end of the month, or struggling to barely pay your bills, falling deeper into debt. Find out how to change that here. Things like that are essentially a benefit-based headline. What you're going to find is, with level 5 and level 4, you have to lead your headlines with benefits, right? Because they're not educated or versed or knowing about the features that your solution solves, the issues that your solution solves. You hear a lot of people in sales and talk about features and benefits. And it's a big difference, actually, because benefits are one thing and features are another, and you've got to make sure to distinguish between the two. So what you've got going on here is, you still want benefits when you're at stages 4 and 5, is benefit-based headlines. And normally what we found is, with level 4, when they have a problem, you can essentially say how I solved my problem, and tell a story, which is a whole other scientific training that I have a breakdown and a formula for, that actually works very well. And I actually bring in people from this. This is mostly my market, where we're actually advertised from very successfully. And so that's one of the things that we do. Now, there's other levels of awareness, and I'll talk a little bit about these other 3 and what really works for you, because there's not really any better one than the other, but you just want to know which one you're marketing to, so that you know how to market to them effectively. So, all right, remembering here, 4 and 5, a benefit-based headline, and aware of the problem, unaware of the solution. That's 4. So before I move on, Avram, real quick, just want to check in with you and see if anything didn't make sense there.
No, it was good. It was good. I'm glad you talked about the benefit piece. That's the part that really stuck for us, was how these 2 markets at the top, are all about the benefits. They're all about, whatever it is that your product or your service can provide. So it might be like more free time. It might be more money at the end of the month. It might be, it might be the benefit of the benefit too, right? So having more money doesn't just mean having more money. It could mean being able to take your fiance out to dinner, right? It could mean being able to not have to worry about paying the bills and putting them on auto pay, stuff like that. So that's the part that had a breakthrough for us, is because we realized that a lot of our people that we market to traditionally and that have been the most responsive to our message are actually people in that number 4 area. And we actually got ourselves caught up. When you look out in the marketplace and you're looking at like, well, how other people are marketing, you can learn from, right? You can learn from. And it's also easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you have to market like them when they're more successful than you. And so I can't wait till you go into number 3, number 2, and number 1, because those are some of the people that we were trying to imitate and act like and that actually took us further away from who we're really good at marketing to. And I think people are going to realize that when you go through 1, 2, and 3, that they might be better at marketing to those people than 4 and 5, or vice versa. So there'll be more context here as you explain, I think, for people to get what I just talked about.
Absolutely. And just to note here before I actually move on, good to know that what I've seen from this, because I've actually marketed in all the levels and tested them all out and found out what I really like the best, and chosen, and I've chosen 4 mostly personally for me, not that that's for everybody, but I've chosen 4 for me as well, because I find the highest customer value there, lifetime customer value, and upgrade rates, because these people are very receptive to, okay, now I know the solution, tell me what I need to do next, tell me everything I need to know, and you bypass a lot of this stuff in the process to where they start, doing the looking for discounts and looking for bonuses and sponsor shopping and all that stuff. You get to bypass that stuff. They're a different mindset of people. So you see a lot more retention and stuff going on there, but getting almost a little bit ahead of myself, but I wanted to frame that for you so that you understand a little more where we're going with this, okay? So now I'm going to go into level 3, and the reason I drew this line and this major barrier here is because what you were talking about, Avram, as well. The big difference between features and benefits is that when you get into level 3, 2, and 1, you want to use features, okay? And the reason we use features, please excuse my first grade handwriting. I was sick that week that we worked on handwriting, and because these people are, number 3, aware of both the problem and the solution. So they already understand the benefits. When they know what the solution is, they understand the benefits. So if you go to a person who already understands the problem and the solution, who may already be looking for a way to make money online, they know online marketing is their way to do it, they know that some kind of work from home business is the way to solve their problem. If you say something like, do you realize you can make money online? They're like, well, yeah, get away from me. I already know that. You see the difference? Big difference than saying, so here's how you recruit more reps into your MLM. Here's how you sponsor more people into your primary company. Here's how the simple 3-step system will help you make money online. Here's how my simple 3-step formula will help you work from home every day and make a full-time income. See, it's a different thing. You're going more so into a feature and benefit, but a feature-heavy type of headline, where you're talking about, the features, the simple 3-step formula, or the, how to recruit more reps. That's a feature, right? I mean, it is a benefit, but it's specific features that your product can solve. It already tells what the problem is solving. And so that's how you market to here, which is completely different than here. Perfect example is Landon. A lot of you guys know Landon Stewart. He's going to be on our call tonight as well. And his main market is level 3. Now, we're working on some level 4 stuff for him, which he's actually starting to see success with now. But what he's classically done, where he made over $97,000 last year in his primary business alone, and that was, he really didn't even start until April. So he's, to me, he's a 6-figure earner, and income disclaimer, results not typical. Landon went crazy, right? And so, and you got to be a little crazy, guys. Just know that. So get ready for that, and it's okay. And everyone's a little crazy, they just don't know it, right? So what I want to say here is, this is where a lot of people have success, even still telling a story, but the way they tell it and understanding to speak to the features rather than the benefits is very, very important, because they already understand the benefits. They already understand the solution. They're aware of the solution. So you don't have to restate the problem and the solution. You have to restate what your solution does for them, which is the features. Making sense? Abram, I want to check in with you real quick. How's that looking?
Yeah, I mean, it's like when we were at the barbecue the other day, we spent a lot of time talking about it because there's a lot of depth in each of these categories, but I think you do a great job of explaining the difference between, like, when you put it in terms of headlines, the difference between what if you did this? What if you gave, so we can solve the same problem. What if you gave a headline for number 4 versus number 3 right next to each other, so people get, maybe you already did that enough, but maybe people need to hear it again.
Sure. Well, that's a lot of the training I'm actually going to get into tonight.
Okay.
So what I want to do here is see if I can finish through this, because I know we don't have much time left for this one.
Perfect.
But let's continue on, because the other two, if you know how to do it right, can be very lucrative. Okay. Now, what I want to stop and pause here real quick and clarify again for people is, you notice how this up here is really big. There's a large part of it. It's very wide. What that means is that's a larger part of the market that you have to tap into, right? Obviously, these people are not as qualified, and you have to do more to qualify them, right? But there's a lot more of them than there is, say, here. You see, this is a smaller piece of the pie, okay? And these people are easier to sell to. There's less of them, so there's a trade-off. It's where your sweet spot is with your individual talent, skills, and understanding of who you want to market to, right? So what you'll see here as we get smaller and smaller is you get more into the expertise of marketing, where more so veteran leaders and people who really understand how to market, even if they're not veterans yet, can thrive and flourish here in level 2 and level 1. So let's get into this real quick. So level 2 is aware of your product or company, but they're not convinced. Okay, so they know all the problems, solutions, features, and benefits, and now they're basically company or product shopping. They're comparison shopping. This is the person who goes to the mall on a weekend and looks for the best bargain. They're looking for the sales. They're looking for the discounts. They're looking for what they get along with it. And so what you find here at level 2, the best way to market to these people is offering extra discounts, bonuses, and time-sensitive offers. Time-sensitive offers. So now, obviously, a lot of people, you know, if they have to come up with bonuses, and they have to know what they're doing in training to be able to create bonuses to give to people. So a newbie normally doesn't want to start here, but they can very quickly leverage other bonuses and stuff like that as well from teams and systems if they need to. But discounts doesn't always apply, because you may not be selling your product itself, but you can also give discounts, you know, like a discounted link to a bonus, you know, and I'll let you buy my other product for half price. If you buy this right now, I'll get you that half off. That's what I'm talking about with it. Or time-sensitive offers, where you're doing a promotion, which is different than a campaign. Okay, a promotion that is a short-term thing that's offering some type of an incentive. So discounts, bonuses, time incentive offers, and incentives to buy now. So I know I'm kind of squeezing that all in there, and you probably can't read my handwriting anyway, but it doesn't matter. You're listening and you hear this, so we're good. Incentives, discounts, bonuses, and time-sensitive offers. So that you can do very well. There's a few top producers in quite a few companies that lead with this. They're constantly offering bonuses like every step of the way to opt in again and get more stuff and upgrade and all that stuff. They're offering bonuses, discounts, time-sensitive stuff all the time, and that's their real promotion cycle. They'll market to these people right here. They'll literally market, you know, an ad that says, you know, join this company with me and I'll give you these bonuses. That's an idea of a headline, like join this company and I'll give you this bonus, but you need to act today in order to get this, and I'll also give you half off my other product that helps you build this business. You see how that works? It's a little different than up here. A little different. And so you have to know who you're talking to. So you got to learn how to be able to target those people. And that's a little bit more of the discussion that we'll have tonight as well. So now you get down to number 1. they're aware of the company and all of that stuff, and they're now convinced of the company. But now they're just looking for who to join. These are what we call the sponsor shoppers. These are the people that what they really want is exclusivity. And did I do that right? Exclusivity. Yeah, okay. Exclusivity and personal attention, because they want to be connected. So, you know, normally they want personal attention, and they're really big, if not always personal attention, but they're big on credibility. They want to join somebody credible that has results, right? Credible results. And authority, power in the industry. They have pull. They have influence. So these people that are influential, I think if I learn how to spell right, influence, some people only want to join those types of people. So they'll educate themselves on all of these, and then they'll go and find the best sponsor or the best person to buy that product from because of that. And that's called power positioning, which we're going to have somebody that's going to be, may not be on the Hangout tonight because he's on his anniversary, 8th wedding anniversary. And he may not be back in time. We're not sure yet. I haven't been able to reach him, although he told me he'd love to come out when we were having a hangout, but I haven't been able to reach him in a couple of days. But it's like I don't know if this is generic or not, but, you know, Abram, it's, you know, the top producer in our primary company that a lot of us are promoting. And so, yeah. And that's also what we're going to have at some of our workshops and such too, where we really go into this. And, you know, we teach people this stuff anyway, but if, you know, what we do at our workshops is actually do it with them, where we actually help over their shoulder and do that type of thing. But getting ahead of ourselves. So they're aware of you, but not convinced. So what you do here is establish yourself as authority, influence, show your results. You're very personable. You know, talk about how you may give some coaching time, some one-on-one time to help customize their plan for them, and that they have access to exclusive stuff. And they like to, these are what we call the VIPs. Whenever you have an event, normally you always have a VIP section, and what you find at any type of seminar or event is that you have about 20% of the population that's coming to the event, they want to be VIP, and they'll pay extra to be able to sit in the front row and have a special dinner with the seminar speakers or the main facilitator of the conference or whatever, and then have you know, some extra special perks, you know, be able to walk in first and just little stuff like that. There really isn't much, but people literally pay like 5 times more for that, just for exclusivity. These people have money. So that very high customer value when you do it right, but if you're trying to do it right before having all these things, marketing to level 1, then you have a problem, because then they're buying from the other guy, not you. But once you're able to convince them of all of this, and here's the thing, you don't have to have this if you're marketing to here. You don't always have to have this if you're marketing here. So what I'm saying is you don't have to have all of these things if you're marketing to somebody here. You have to have all of these things if you're marketing to somebody here at level 1. At level 3, you just need to do a lot of features. That's what they're worried about. They're not necessarily worried about a lot of the bonuses, discounts, and all that stuff, but you're essentially the one that's in front of them first. So as long as you resonate with them on the same value system, which is another part of our training, then they want to join you because they feel trust. Here, it's features and trust. At level 3, it's like features and trust. They got to like you, know you, trust you, and so that's why they'll join you. They won't join because they don't care about the discounts or bonuses and stuff. They may think it's cool, but it's not their main decision factor. So now you've seen all 5 states of awareness, and just want to turn it back on over you, Abram, real quick, and see your thoughts there.
Yeah, well, dude, by the way, the feedback in the chat roll is pretty incredible, man. People are just having massive breakthroughs. People are saying that they're going to watch this a few times. Some people are saying, you know, like Sandy said, like, this is so good. This is making things that I was pretty fuzzy on way clearer, understanding exactly what the different people are looking for. You know, and I think that's true. I just love the way that you broke it down. It's super simple. It makes sense. I know that people are definitely having that breakthrough, because what happened to me is, and I'll just say this really quick, and then we'll kind of close it out and share with people where they can get more information on this stuff. You know, we were doing a workshop in Denver recently, and we were trying to come up with a title for it. And we wanted the title to communicate stuff to the right people. So we actually had two different target markets that we knew that would be interested in the content that we were going to share, that we wanted to share, right? We wanted to share with them an opportunity. And so we were like, okay, we want existing MLMers and network marketers to show up. Well, we didn't know it at the time, but that's a 3, at least. That's a level 3. And we wanted people that were really similar to us, where they're just seeking something different because they know that what they're doing now isn't working. So what is that? That's a 4. So we had a 3 and a 4, these two different types of people that we wanted to show up to the workshop, and we made lists on our whiteboard of the things that they're looking for and what they're really interested in, what they want. And guess what happened? The list just did not match up in any way, shape, or form. And so when it came time to try to create a title or create bullet points for what we were going to share at that workshop, it was just so fuzzy. It was so unclear. It was like trying to, put the square into the round hole or the peg into the square hole or whatever it is, and it was so hard. And when you broke it down like this, I realized why it was so hard is because we were literally trying to market to people that are on both sides of that great divide that you talked about. And now I realize how much easier it is to just go with the one that, like if you're a newbie, choose one. Choose one place to go. And I would also say that even if you're looking to master, and climb the ranks of whatever opportunity that you're in, or to build a business, whatever it is that you're in, you still want to choose like one, because that's like your profit zone. We live in an abundant world, and even though some of those, levels 1 and 2 and 3 might be smaller than 4 and 5, there's still a lot of people that are there. You just got to get good at finding them. So, I could talk about it, all day, because we talked about it all day, all night at the barbecue, but I think maybe it just might be better to leave people with these thoughts that they're having right now, these breakthroughs that they're having right now, because I know there's going to be somebody that goes and they get on their whiteboard, or they ask me for my Amazon link because they want to buy one right now, and they write down, well, shit, like this is how I should be doing. Like they're already figuring out like where they might have gone wrong or what they can do to make it easier. So we'll leave people to do that and to marinate on it a little bit, but also let people know that there's a way that you can learn more about this stuff and come back and hang out with us tonight.
Well, exactly. And here's what I want to offer for everyone real quick to tie this together for people, because I know a lot of people are probably like, wow, this is a lot. I have a lot to think about right now. And let me simplify some of this for you, because don't get lost in the overcomplication thing. I'll show you here, and also I'm going to talk a lot about this tonight on the webinar, what this is about. And so here's the question. A lot of people are like, well, how do I market to here or here? How do I get them all the way down to here? How do I actually do that? And what I have found is the most effective way, especially with these 3, is through storytelling. And I actually like to call it, which is going to be something upcoming for me, is called the art of story selling instead of storytelling. We call it story selling. And what you do through a story, if done the right way with the right structure, you illustrate to someone, how you can go from the problem, solution, features and benefits, all of this stuff, down to making a decision through even one exposure sometimes. When you tell a story of how this happened for you or how this happened for somebody else, what it does is it illustrates for people how this is real and how this actually can work for them. And so there's an actual art to that I've been able to master. My clients pay me about $1,200 an hour just to teach them this for their own local businesses. This is not something that's specific to MLM or online marketing. This is something that I consult with professionals about in my consulting company as well. And this is universal, that can be used for a lot of different things. So note to people who are entrepreneurs here online already, you may even have other stuff in other niches or things you do, or a local offline business that you also promote, or you may be a professional where your story is going to resonate with your target audience. If you learn how to tell it right, with the right values, talking to the right people, you're able to hit on a lot of these people and bring them through a process very quickly and easily that makes it effortless for them to want to join you, buy you, follow you, and continue to upgrade and go through your processes with you. Make sense, Abram? Uh-oh.
I was muted. I was muted. Yeah, you put it well, man. You put it well. I don't think I think if I added something to it, it would take away from what you just said.
All right. Cool, man. So I think we're actually only like 3 hours away from the hangout tonight, and it looks like we're going to have a cast of, so far, yourself and Nikki, Landon Stewart, Kayala Kanai is going to be coming on. We're still trying to see if we can get Michelangelo. Haven't heard back from him yet, and who knows, maybe, maybe not. We'll have Jordan on the line. Amy will be stepping in as well. And so we'll have, a dialogue here, because there's people that market at each one of these levels successfully, and we're going to pick their brain a little bit and see their take on how they do that so successfully as well.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun time tonight. Really honored to be able to give this information to people, because I'm sick and tired of seeing the struggling that people have, because they really just don't even know how to begin. They really don't even know how to start and say, well, how do I make a headline? What do I say in the headline? But once you understand this, you can start thinking through this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys are going to be breaking down, well, we're going to be there too, obviously, in more depth, more detail, some of this stuff here, and some things that we didn't get the chance to talk about, which is really cool. And you guys learn more about the story selling deal and how that fits in, and really how, Chris has made this a huge part of his multiple six-figure income in the industry, working from home, making money on the internet. And so here's what you need to do if you want to be part of that training. It's free to come. Right? It's open to everybody, but you got to be a part of the team. Okay, so if you want this information, there's a big button below this video. If you want the link to this hangout tonight that we're going to be doing with Chris and company and some awesome other leaders, you got to click that button. You got to join. Okay, you got to be a part of our business, right? So whether we're invited here by me or Nikki or Chris or somebody else, you just got to click the button, join, and you'll get hooked up with the information to join Chris and the rest of the crew tonight to learn more about the story selling, learn more about and expand upon the concepts that we talked about here. Because I'll tell you what, when Chris broke it down for us at the barbecue, there was a lot more than what we were able to cover today. And as you can tell, what we covered today was already pretty freaking fabulous, right? So I appreciate you, Chris. Thanks for coming, man. And like you said, we got 3 hours to people to marinate and get ready for the next webinar, and we're starting to, I guess, so that would be 9 p.m. Eastern time, right?
Yeah. And quick question for you is, now that you've seen this twice, Avram, is there any other insights seeing it twice had on you?
Some things just need to be heard multiple times for certain things to sink in. One of the things that I do when I listen to people that I'm ready to learn from is I ask, what can I receive from this person that even goes beyond like what the words that they're saying, the information that they're sharing. Like, what awareness can I receive from Chris right now as he's teaching these concepts? Like, what if I could download everything that he knows about this, like, into my brain and into my awareness? Then what would be possible? So I always ask that stuff, and I just have like, it's stuff that you can't totally put words to, but it's like when you first learn to ride a bike. You're thinking about it a lot when you're first riding it, but as you get better, you stop thinking about how you're turning the pedals and how you're moving the handlebars and how you're having to balance back and forth, because you just kind of unconsciously do it. So feel like I'm already moving from that state where you're like consciously aware of what's going on and cognizant of how to do it, almost coming over to that space now of being like just unconsciously just doing it like automatically, right? So I'm receiving more downloads on how to apply this, and you just start making different connections that you didn't before, and that's kind of what I'm experiencing. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, so it's really worth seeing twice then.
Yeah. Well, and I know that there's just I don't know, man. People just say stuff different every time, and like what you said now is a little bit different than the last time, so it's really good. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. So and so the cool thing is we've got cool stuff coming up for tonight, and tonight's going to be a free training if you're inside the team, and obviously there will be an offer afterwards, but don't worry about that, because what we've got coming tonight is a whole other upgrade, next level section to this that you're going to get for free anyway. And so just by being there, so even if you're not, the offer that we have, because me and Abram and Nikki have cooked up something special with, a few other leaders here that we're going to offer for people, but it's not a necessary thing. It's if you need help with it, but if you can go and apply this stuff and some of the stuff we're teaching tonight, have at it, more power to you if everybody wins. Win-win-win, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm happy and grateful to be able to do tonight, because I love being able to see more than anything else. People go, oh my God, now I get it, and then start seeing their results. Knowing that I had something to do with that has been the most grateful thing that I can do, because I don't worry about money anymore, and I don't even think about the money. I know that as a result of what I'm doing every day helps people get better, and the money flows for me, which allows me to create the significance that I want in my life and what's important. So love to do this, man. Appreciate it.
Beautiful.
Appreciate that you're going to be there.
Absolutely, man. So, guys, connect with Chris if you haven't already. Join the team by clicking the button below if you haven't already. And we'll be posting the information in our Facebook groups and stuff to help you guys get locked and loaded. If you're not connected to me, Nikki, Chris, or anybody, but you're already in, feel free to send me or Chris a message, and we'll find you the info to become part of our training tonight. All right. So appreciate you guys, Chris. Love you, man. Can't wait to see you tonight. And then, of course, I'm just glad that you live here in Colorado and we get to share that, those mile-high vibes, dude, because there's just something special about Colorado. I mean, there's a reason that we have more 6- and 7-figure earners as a percentage of our population, than anywhere else in the world. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think it is.
I'm pretty sure that's the truth. We got something going on here, like the Colorado connection or something that allows that. I'm even going to actually just open up my window here and, well, not open it up, but just give you a view. I'm up in the mountains here. I don't know if any of you guys can see that.
Oh, yeah.
The mountains around me. But this is where I live. And let me show you something even cooler as well as I go back into the other room, because this is just my messy office. And show you that, this is the kind of lifestyle you can have when you can live where you want to live, because all you do is, your office is from home. It's virtual. Just you need a laptop and internet connection to do that. You can hear the sound of a rushing stream behind me. And check this out. This is my backyard. So you can see that I can wake up every morning and come out here, drink some tea, wake up slowly, enjoy the stream, the rushing water, clear my head, let myself think. It's beautiful, being in the flow. Love it.
That's right, baby. And what Chris just gave you just now is an example of level 4 marketing. The words that he just used, everything that he just did, you can study it again the last, minute there. That's level 4 marketing. So we could go on, but we'll save it for tonight. We appreciate everybody for coming out. And again, Chris, thanks for sharing this stuff. I knew that when you drew it on the napkin or the piece of paper that it would be valuable for everybody to hear today. So appreciate you, man. And guys, give Chris some love in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon. We'll hand out that information for everybody who's ready to take action and be with us there tonight.
All right, brother. We'll see you then.
Peace.
Everybody.